Hello and welcome again. Today we're gonna be playing with some minor wall breakers. This time it's gonna be in Ultimate Champion, as you can see. It's pretty much still the early season, so I'm gonna probably not play the highest quality of players, but it is what it is. My opponent will start off with the Goblin Gang and the wall breakers, so pretty good start for him. He gets a slight damage lead. I'm gonna try to counter it with my cards at hand. I'm gonna try to counter the Dark Goblin by cycling our wall breakers another time. Unfortunately, wallies won't connect to the tower, but I think it's still gonna be a good exchange because we basically cycle to our evolutions. In the meantime, I actually am pretty confused. Okay, so my opponent is gonna be playing Royal Recruits, which is one of the decks to be playing. I'm gonna try to promptly defend them, and I'm gonna kite the rest of the recruits with the wall breakers. He's gonna get a very nice log against them, so that's gonna suck. I think I'm gonna get the log against this recruit. I could have played the Mighty Miner to get a bomb, but I don't think it's gonna be too useful. We're gonna counter Spear Goblins with the minions, and yeah, we're gonna go into the halfway mark of the game, apparently. Hey, usually games last 5 minutes with this deck, so absolutely we're not halfway there, it's just 1.5 minutes out of the 5, because minor decks usually play the entire 5-minute game. I'm gonna cycle a cannon, I want to kinda save the poison. For defense, we'll see how we'll fare in this defense. I'm gonna play Skeletons in the middle, Mighty Miner to hold the Dark Goblin in the mid as well. I'm gonna pop an ability to kinda decimate these recruits, and yeah, I'm definitely down elixir right now, that's without saying, but I'm gonna try to do something fun. I'm gonna try to predict something, and I do, so that's gonna be a cool trick. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be too good, and my opponent will actually predict me with the Goblin Gang, so that's definitely smart on his part. I'm gonna play late cannon to kinda absorb the wall breakers. I'm gonna try to get a kill on the little prince. Unfortunately, I'm getting kinda overrun, which is super unfortunate. I'm gonna play miner. Yeah, probably should have eaten the evil wall breakers. Yeah, it's gonna be unfortunately a very nice win for my opponent, who was pretty much attacking me for the entire time. I don't wanna I don't want to hide it, I am pretty salty about this loss because it's definitely the winnable matchup. It's just I kinda got baited out throughout the game. I didn't get a kill on the little prince in the key moment, and he just kept spamming when I didn't have the lock-in cycle. So yeah, maybe some mistakes were made, but we're gonna keep until the usual objective, which is gonna be obviously getting the for daily rewards, and yeah, up until then we're gonna be just pushing with the minor cycle, because I still have a feeling that I'm gonna be pretty good with it. We're gonna be facing Roll Chef now, and my opponent responds with guards, which pretty much means it's gonna be probably some beatdown deck, especially after he plays a Roll Chef. Usually cycle decks run the more consistent tower troops in terms of damage, which is the Princess Tower and the Cannoneer, and the Dagger Duchess, unfortunately, will be the forgotten one because of how spammy the meta is. It just doesn't bring the enough value that is required for it to work. I'm gonna play Skeletons on the opposite side and kinda pop the ability, try to be a bit aggressive, and unfortunately my opponent will be having minions for that, which is super frustrating. We're gonna play the cannon for the goblin machine. I'm gonna play minions to kinda kite the minions, and I'm gonna play wall breakers to go for offense, and actually goblin machine will activate my king towers, so that's a very cool exchange, I would say. Still, I have to defend a golem, which will be definitely a bit tricky. We'll see how we'll fare. I'm gonna play very early skeletons and cannon to get some early damage, force out the baby dragon just like that, and I'm gonna play poison just to weaken all of his troops. I'm gonna play minions against the baby dragon to kinda neutralize it. My opponent plays vines, which is honestly very interesting call. I don't think it's good nor bad. I'm gonna just play wall breakers and then followed up with miner wanna play it this way around, so that, yeah, okay, actually my opponent gets a pretty good set of guards, kinda predicting my miner. Pretty sucks, but I think I still can pretty easily win this matchup. All it's gonna kinda, like, the biggest pressure point of this matchup will be getting rid of the Evo Baby Dragons, because if there's a huge push coming down the lane, it's gonna be super scary to stop. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to kill the minions here. I kinda wanted it to happen, but it's just not the case. I'm gonna play miner and then minions to kinda stop the baby dragon and then try to eat the goblin machine as well. Fortunately, okay, my opponent definitely having the upper hand as for now. I'm gonna try to play a smart mighty miner, and I'm gonna still take the damage from the goblin machine. Kinda underestimated it right here. That's gonna really suck, because I still think this match was definitely winnable. Once again, it's just kind of my slight miscalculation on defense, because I thought that goblin machine won't actually take my tower, but I think it was actually higher leveled, so it took like... first of all, it dealt more damage, and second of all, it was surviving for a quite longer. If I recall correctly, every card is upgraded by 10%, so Goblin Machine takes around 20 shots to get countered fully. Okay, my opponent predicts my wallies, it doesn't matter. So like getting it one level higher kinda gives it two more hits of the wiggle time, and it can deal more damage in that time. I think my opponent will be playing Princess, so I'm gonna try to predict that. I'm gonna catch the Dark Goblin instead, which is super cool as well. I'm gonna also play Wall Breakers on the opposite side to try to sneak a hit, and I do. That's very nice. I'm gonna play Mighty Miner very high to quickly get rid of the Skeleton King. And I'm gonna play Skeletons to counter Wall Breakers. I think I kinda messed that up, so I have to play Minions as well. And I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner's ability to kinda continue the press, support my minions, and my opponent actually will be having a lot of trouble stopping these minions. I'm gonna play the log to kinda try to clean up everything. I'm gonna take 2 hits from the Dark Goblin, which is not super cool, but at the same time, it's not the worst. I'm gonna also get a good interaction against his wall breakers, and my opponent already kinda getting salty. He's gonna also get a very nice cleanup against my Evo wall breakers, which it is unfortunate, but also it is what it is. I'm gonna try to get a minor prediction on his Dark Goblin. We'll see if we get it. Okay, we won't get it. He absolutely waited with the Dark Goblin. That's actually a very well played from him, but we're gonna get minor damage, which is always welcome. I'm gonna play Cannon here to kinda tank for the Dark Goblin, cycle to the Cannon Evo, which definitely will be cool in this matchup, and we're gonna be also defending the Dart itself, because it's not the card that we wanna have on our tower. I'm gonna also play Miner here. I think my opponent will be playing Goblin Gang to catch it, or Dark Goblin, and I catch the Dark Goblin with the poison. It appears that my opponent is very happy to be playing Dark Goblin in this specific position. So, okay, I'm gonna definitely play a Cannon to counter that. I'm gonna play Mighty Miner to tank for the goblins, play the minions, and I think I'm gonna just play Skeletons to kinda greedily defend the Goblin Barrel. I'll take some damage, but I'm gonna have more pressure, if I may say. I'm gonna play now Wall Breakers to defend, trying to get anything going. Miner in the back, and now I think I can start getting my Miner poisons on the tower, since it's gonna be the most reliable way of kind of getting damaged. Yeah, I definitely lost some momentum in this game, but I think it's all good now, except now I messed up the log. Yeah, that's gonna be a bit more rough than I expect. I'm gonna play Mighty... Okay, he has like GG. Yeah, I absolutely didn't expect the lightning to come down. That's very unfortunate. I think we're gonna just keep going. Yeah, it's rough that we started off with 3 losses, but I feel like it's still not too bad. The season ends in 3 weeks, so I definitely have some time to get my trophies back, and yeah, we're gonna just keep playing. My opponent will be playing the bomber. I'm gonna tank one bomber shot with wall breaker because definitely I don't want to take this bomber hit on the tower. I'm gonna get minions to quickly damage the golden knight, and actually my opponent doesn't trust me that I have the smoke card, and I didn't, so that was a good play from him. I'm gonna play the miner. I'm gonna instantly pop the mighty miner's ability to kinda get the damage on Inferno Dragon and try to get some damage with the mighty miner. I'm gonna play skeletons for this Inferno Dragon, and honestly I think one of my wall breakers will sneak through if I play them here, so I'm gonna try to do that. Actually, both of them will sneak, so that's a super cool interaction, and one of them will actually get a full connection. Also, I think my opponent is playing right now Egiant, so we'll just have to be very careful with our cannon. I'm gonna cycle Mighty Miner. If he plays Golden Knight on the opposite side, I still have the Miner to tank, so that's gonna be a useful one. And now, in case I need to, I always can pop the Mighty Miner's ability. I'm gonna pop it early to kinda get rid of the Inferno Dragon. Our opponent will continue the assault the Golden Knight, and there's the E-Giant. So I'm gonna capitalize on my opponent. Not having cannon. I'm gonna play Mighty Miner to counter the Golden Knight. Unfortunately, we'll have to eat this E-Giant because our cannon was kind of fit to counter the Golden Knight and not the E-Giant. I'm gonna pressure very quickly with wall breakers. My opponent will get a good counter on that. Unfortunately, we're gonna get a Mighty Miner ability on that. Getting quick damage, trying to kinda vary our damage outputs. I'm gonna get Miner plus minions right now, just to pressure him on the opposite side. I definitely cannot allow this Inferno Dragon to hit up and wreak some havoc, so we'll have to be very careful around that. We're gonna occupy the Inferno Dragon on this side, take some damage. It's still fine by me. I'm gonna play the poison with Miner, just to get more constant damage. My opponent will be playing Tornado on my minions, which is definitely expected. I'm gonna play skeletons here, trying to get minions here, wall breakers here. Yeah, it's gonna be this time of the game where we are okay. Let's cannon this Inferno Dragon. That was unfortunate. But it's the cannon in the optimal position, so he still cannot go in. Unless he wants to, obviously I cannot really prevent him. I can just make it so that the trades won't be as worth it for him as previously. I'm gonna play skeletons here, just in case if he wants to pop the Mighty Miner ability, and he does. I'm gonna pop the poison on the miner, trying to get some value in case he wants to feed me with anything. That's gonna be absolutely welcome. I'm gonna play minions in the back. I think that's gonna be pretty handy. I'm gonna play wall breakers here, get the cannon down, and at this point I feel like I have to get another set of minions here. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner as well, and yeah, that's gonna be actually a very scary defense. Gonna get the lock on that. Inferno Dragon is still on the board, which is super scary for me. Fire Spirit will come down, so it's gonna be taken care of. Unfortunately, my opponent caught my miner, which is super unfortunate. I'm gonna keep playing the log, some skeletons to kill the Inferno Dragon. My opponent gets the lightning, so that sucks once again. I'm gonna get poison and miner, just really trying to get any damage in. I'm gonna play Mighty Miner. Yeah, right now I think I have to kinda go all in. Unfortunately, he catches another of my miners, but at this point I really cannot stop going in, so I have to just keep pressing. My opponent gets the Nado down. I play the miner with the poison, wall breakers. Yeah, I really now need the break. I'm gonna play minions try to get something down. Log, yeah, my opponent will get this win. Unfortunate. It was very close game and I unfortunately lost it. Yeah. That's just not something that I predicted, but yeah. We're just gonna continue recording. Honestly, at this point, if I get one more loss, I'm gonna just consider completely scrapping this video and trying to record something else because this one was completely unsuccessful. My opponent will be playing Furnace, so maybe, hopefully, fortunately, now we have the matchup, because obviously this meta is completely dominated by Vines, but if Poison has anything going for itself, it's gonna be that it fully counters Furnace. My opponent will be probably playing the Goblin Giant Furnace Prince deck, which was very popular in CRL. And yeah, we're gonna try to kinda play around it. I'm gonna play Mighty Miner here, trying to kinda get a damage on the troops at hand. I'm gonna get the very nice bomb and pretty much fully counter the push. I'm gonna play wall breakers as well, just to keep cycling. My opponent cannot ignore it right now, so it's gonna be very nice. And actually, I recognize this match from the CRL. I remembered that actually there was one player that played the exact same deck and he put a log. I don't remember who it was, but I believe it was against Riley to kind of counter log bait. So like, that's definitely not gonna be a optimal ladder deck from him. It's gonna be more of a duo deck, and like I've said before, it was used against Riley because he's very known from playing the log bait archetype. And yeah, if you want to counter log bait, probably running log as your main small spell is probably a good move. So that's definitely was the decision behind that. He's gonna also be playing Giant Skeleton. Right now I'm not defending the Goblin Machine because if I spend more elixir, it may make me more like vulnerable to pressure on the opposite lane. So even though I'm taking heavy damage, at least I'm preventing myself from losing the game on the spot. So like, all in all, I think it's not a bad trade. I'm gonna get a cleanup on the furnace and I'm gonna pressure on the opposite side. Once again, at this point I have such a damage advantage that it's not important for me to get more ahead, but just not to die in some stupid way. So I'm gonna just play minions in the back. I'm gonna play cannon to defend the giant skeleton as well. I'm gonna play minor wallies. At this point I think it's very important to also pressure my opponent. I'm gonna play the mighty miner on the opposite side. I'm gonna play another cannon to try to prevent everything from happening. I'm gonna play miner and evolve wall breakers because they are so good at attacking. These minions will, okay, they won't die because he actually played them in a very nice placement. I'm gonna play poison lock because I think it's gonna be enough, and I think it's gonna be enough to take the tower. GG's. That was actually a very nice matchup for us because, like you probably have seen, my opponent P.E.K.K.A wasn't able to build a very big push that we couldn't stop because, like, we always can drop a poison, we can always counter pressure on the opposite side, and my opponent was actually getting very easily distracted by our counter pressure, so we were able to make our defenses very easy. So yeah, with the next one we're gonna be playing, we'll see actually against what. I'm gonna start with a very easy miner. I believe it's one of the placements where if your opponent has Nado, he cannot activate the King Tower, so like there are a couple of safe spots per se for a miner. I actually played a very bad cannon. And my opponent responds with very bad cannon himself, so we actually exchange mistakes, and unfortunately I come out on top because I spent more elixir to kind of fix them. Okay, so we're gonna be playing against Hog EQ. It is very recent trend to play the Barbarian Barrel instead of the Log because like Hog decks don't have a very nice response against the Furnace, so many players of this archetype kinda decided that it is the best for them to play the Barbarian Barrel to counter the Furnace instead of changing any other core cards. I'm gonna play a Hay Cannon just to try to get a counter against the Mighty Miner, and in the meantime I'm gonna also be pulling the Hog Rider from both sides. First of all, I'm gonna pull the Hog from the right side, naturally, because this can always pulls the Hog from the right side, but also if he were to play on the left side, I also had the skeletons to push this Hog and kinda force the interaction in my favor. I'm gonna play Miner in the back. Gonna try to get a poison as well, because honestly at this point I have a very huge lead. I'm gonna play an Evo Cannon to kill his Firecracker, and also I'm gonna be hitting the Hog Rider as well. I'm gonna try to predict his Firecracker. Okay, I'm not gonna predict any Firecracker. Unfortunately, he's gonna clean up all this push with just one Mighty Miner ability. That's gonna be smart from him. I'm gonna play Wall Breakers to force out his cannon, and now I'm gonna play the cannon on my own to try to get a counter against the Mighty Miner. My opponent actually goes for a very smart Firecracker here. I'm gonna try to take one Hog hit, unfortunately take two. That sucks, but it is what it is. I'm gonna play another Wall Breaker. I'm gonna try to get the Miner down, and I do. My opponent has to spend a cannon for defense, so that's very nice. I take the EQ damage and get nothing in return, so that's gonna be pretty bad, but I think I still can play this matchup. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner here, and one of my wallies will connect, so that's gonna be super cool. I'm gonna kite the Hog Rider to the opposite side. That's exactly the interaction that I was mentioning before, that you can completely avoid the EQ with the cannon and well-placed skeletons, and I'm gonna try to abuse this interaction as much as I can, because it's just the way to go in this matchup. You have to make your pawn to play EQ on your tower, but at the same time you have to keep your cannon safe so it can fully counter the Hog. I'm gonna go for the Miner minions right now. My opponent plays the skeletons against wallies, which is super smart. I'm gonna get a poison as well, just to get a lot more damage. And now I'm gonna play a very greedy cannon. He gets the EQ. I'm gonna play very light skeletons and the log to fully counter the Hog. I'm gonna get a stun on the Firecracker, which is super cool, and I'm gonna play Wall Breakers in the middle of everything so that I can pressure him, get a wally connection, and like prevent him from going aggressive EQ, because if I didn't go for the Wall Breakers, he probably would have gone for the okay, he's trying to predict something. That's interesting. I'm gonna play a late cannon. Unfortunately, he's outcycling me, so I think my best call is to play Mighty Miner, then play Wall Breakers to kinda protect my Mighty Miner a bit. I'm gonna play another set of minions. I'm gonna play skeletons here. I'm gonna play log very late, unfortunately. I'm gonna play poison, and then I'm gonna try to... yeah, I think I'm gonna just play the late cannon here. Unfortunately, his Hog will skip either way. I'm gonna play wallies here. And yeah, my opponent will try to cheese me with Mighty Miner, but I think it's a bit too late. He still gets a very nice damage. I'm gonna go for the Miner poison. I think it's gonna close the game. So like, I would say very clean game throughout the entire time. Triple Elixir was definitely messy, and I actually almost threw the game, so maybe I should talk less in the Triple Elixir. But we get the job done against, I would say, pretty good matchup for us, because, like I've said, with this cannon trick, it's very consistent for us to kind of pull the Hog Rider to the opposite side, and our opponent really cannot counterplay it, unless he wants to like completely get rid of all the damage that he gets from the Earthquake. Then he can catch our cannon, and that's pretty much the entire purpose why we are doing it in the first place. I'm gonna play Miner to tank for the minions. My opponent will be playing the Snowball, which is like a counter to the minions. Unfortunately, this Goblin Tree will get a lot of damage. That's an interesting one. I'm gonna get a poison down here, trying to get a counter against a Bomber and a Goblin Hut, and I'm gonna get one Wall Breaker to connect, which is super cool. For the next drill, I think I'm gonna keep the Skeletons and the Log, because he wasted the Snowball. And I think I can actually go for the miner plus minions. Let's see what he has in store for us. He has the Goblin Hut, which is definitely something good for us, because now we have the opportunity to play the wall breakers. I'm gonna play cannon very high to kinda take the aggro of the spear gobs. I'm gonna play skeletons to take the aggro of the stab gobs right here, and I'm gonna clean this up relatively well. Okay, my opponent plays the Fire Spirit, which is, I think, the best play in this position, because he forces out a very big card from me. I'm gonna play a miner in the back, trying to just get the damage in. My opponent will be catching this with the Berserker, which is super good play for him. Very unfortunate one. I'm gonna play cannon here, trying to get the goblins that came out of the hut and get a damage on the Berserker. I think this matchup will be more focused on me throwing minor poisons rather than miner with any support, so I'm gonna just start poisoning right now. I'm gonna play wall breakers to kinda counter anything he can come up with. I'm gonna play another miner, and I'm gonna play the poison on the hut and Valk and pretty much everything that he owns, so that's gonna be super cool trade from me. I'm gonna play wall breakers on the opposite side just to pressure. I'm gonna play Mighty Miner to clean up the Valk, and I'm gonna play minions to kinda prevent the drill from doing anything. I'm gonna play the log to prevent it once again from doing anything. I'm gonna play the miner in the spot that he predicts. That's unfortunate. I actually will try to pop the Mighty Miner ability. I actually failed in doing so, so that sucks. I'm gonna get very high minions, and I'm gonna play Evo Wallies on the Evo Valk, so it doesn't get any value. So right now I think my best gameplay will be to play Mighty Miner in the back, and then trying to get as many minor poisons as it's physically possible. So I'm gonna start with the first one. He doesn't catch it, so it's gonna be super cool. My opponent plays once again the Goblin Drill. I'm gonna play the Wall Breakers to kind of prevent him from getting any value, except honestly, I don't know what happened here. I just have to come back from that. I'm gonna play another Miner, another Poison. I'm gonna play Wall Breakers as well, trying to get rid of the Goblin Hut. Okay, I definitely achieved what I wanted. I'm gonna play Skeletons, and unfortunately my opponent will catch my Skeletons. I'm gonna play the Log very quickly. I'm gonna play the Miner as well, and okay. And unfortunately I catch this Fire Spirit, that's very nice. This Evo Valk shouldn't get a hit on my... Okay, it does hit metal. And the Spear Gob hits my egg. Okay. I made a lot of mistakes in this matchup, so I pretty much deserve to lose, but we're gonna try to get the better score in the next one. I believe on the video we are right now with 2 wins and 5 losses, so definitely not the best net gain or gain to loss ratio, but we're gonna try to make it better, at least by winning the last 2 games that we need for our daily lucky drops. I'm gonna play Mighty Miner in the bag because that's the one thing that you can do. At this point I know that my opponent is playing Log Bait, so I don't need Mighty Miner for anything specific. I can just play it just like that. I'm gonna play Miner for his Princess. He won't protect it, so it's gonna be a very nice pick. It's 3-for-3 trade, and honestly the Princess for me is more annoying than the Miner for him, so definitely a good trade for me all around. I'm gonna spot the barrel, which is trying to trick me very early on. Definitely won't work. And yeah, right now we're gonna just relax, reset. This matchup definitely should be... Oh, I actually catch a Princess, very nice. I'm gonna play the Miner here as well, just to catch a Dart Gob. I'm gonna spend some cash, because he still has to spend some cash as well to counter my stuff. I'm gonna play Skeletons here to kinda tank for the Spear Gobs. That's gonna be definitely a good one. I'm gonna play Cannon. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, unfortunately for him, he was late on his wall breakers that won't be tanking for the for the fake barrel. So that's gonna be definitely a very nice interaction for me. I'm gonna set up Mighty Miner semi in the back, just trying to take the princess aggro, divert her from my tower, and trying to pick up both of these support troops in the process. I'm gonna get a poison here because he kinda gave me a lot of reason to play that. These minions will get some damage as well. I'm gonna play skeletons to kinda clean up these ones. I'm gonna try to go for the princess once again. One volley will connect to the tower, which is super cool. I'm gonna play the log here, trying to counter the Dark Goblin, then a Valkyrie counter with the Mighty Miner, which is super good. I actually will not counter this Goblin gang, which is super not fun. I'm gonna play Poison against the Princess, trying to counter that. My opponent definitely getting very eager with his responses. I'm gonna play Skeletons. I actually wasn't completely sure how this interaction will fare. I'm gonna play Miner since it's getting tanked by the Mighty Miner. I'm gonna play Poison as well just to get some damage. I'm gonna eat the Wall Breakers because frankly I don't have any reason to not eat them. I'm gonna just play the minions and I'm gonna play the Evo Cannon right now because like I need realistically some way of killing this Dark Goblin. I'm gonna be very fine with the current trade. I'm gonna play the Mighty Miner to kinda activate the 3-card cycle. I'm gonna play the Miner. He's not gonna catch it, so it's gonna be super nice for us. I'm gonna play Wall Breakers. I'm gonna get minions against the Valkyrie, lock against Dark Goblin, and I think I'm gonna get the poison against the Princess as well. Oh, he actually died to the log, so that's very cool. I'm gonna play the cannon here. I'm gonna play the skeletons to counter the Goblin Barrel, and I think I'm gonna just play Wall Breakers here. They don't connect to the tower anyway, so I might as well just use them defensively. I'm gonna definitely use the poison against that, because at this stage of the game, every damage pretty much counts. I'm gonna definitely play the lock against that, trying to counter the Goblin Barrel with relative ease. Gonna take this trade. The minion will unfortunately I have to just play cards. Don't commentate for now, just keep playing cards. Nice, got caught. Okay, and after locking in for a little while, we've managed to pull off the win. I was just too focused on commentating that I stopped counting cycles, and yeah, even though this matchup is supposed to be easy, because my opponent doesn't have a building for the wall breakers, it was way closer than I initially anticipated. So yeah, let's play one more game, and after that we're gonna try to wrap this video up. It's gonna be against Josh Bates, so I already can start suspecting that he's playing bait as well. I'm gonna play wall breakers in this position because if my opponent does nothing, they will both connect to the tower, which is super cool if that happens. It rarely happens, but you have to kinda test your opponents with everything you got. I'm gonna play skeletons in case my opponent wants to play the princess at the bridge. He doesn't, so I'm gonna just pre-play cannon. Right now he absolutely cannot do that. Unless he wants to play the Dark Goblin, in which case I'm gonna just log. If he wants to barrel, he can barrel. I'm more than happy to allow this to happen. And right now, yeah, that's gonna be the actual reason why you don't do that, is because he got a very nice trade right here. So the log would have countered it. Probably the better play was to play the Dark Goblin against that. I'm gonna try to catch the princess. We'll see how it's gonna fare. Okay, I don't catch the princess. My opponent will be playing Dark Goblin here, and unfortunately I didn't hit the tower, so that's gonna suck a lot. But the minion will survive, so I absolutely take it as a W. Right now my opponent has the access to the Evo Barrel, so it's gonna be a bit... yeah. a bit stressful in countering that. My opponent also plays Divines to get his decoy barrel to get more damage, and I'm gonna let this Valk go as well. I'm gonna play Evo Wallies here to counter the Goblin Gang. I still get a very nice connection, and in case my opponent wants to play the Princess, I'm just holding the Mighty Miner. So yeah, we're gonna try to catch his Princess. Okay, I'm not gonna keep doing it with that. I'm gonna try to catch the Princess now, and unfortunately I don't get it. Oh, sorry for the Discord notification. I'm gonna okay, I'm gonna play the poison just because I try to predict the Goblin Gang. Okay, there's no Goblin Gang, but the Dark Goblin still came down. I think I'm gonna just log this Goblin Gang because it's gonna be annoying. I'm gonna be playing Skeletons and Minions. My opponent with a very good Vines, kinda retargeting my tower from the Dark Goblin. I didn't expect this play from him, so definitely he got the upper hand on this interaction. Once again, he has to play Cannon here. I'm gonna play the Miner plus Skellies. I'm gonna protect this tower, because definitely out of the two that I have, this one is more vulnerable. Okay, Dark Goblin won't die, which super sucks. I think once again I'll have to kinda lock in. He plays the interesting. Frick me, I don't think I can defend that. Yeah, I cannot defend that. It was a very weird game because I think my opponent just literally didn't have the Princess, and he had the lock instead of the Princess. Yeah, he didn't have the Princess, and the card that he had oh, he had Divines and the Cannon. Okay, that actually explains a lot. Yeah, so very unfortunate matchup here. I just was playing against the Princess. I didn't realize that he didn't have one to begin with, so that's gonna be unfortunate. We're gonna jump to the next game though. Against the Bandits, so like it's usually a indicator that your opponent is running some kind of bridge spam deck. I'm gonna definitely be happy to play against bridge spam, because usually the Miner decks just counter this archetype. I'm gonna play Miner here, try to bait out the Magic Archer. Okay, he doesn't go for the Magic Archer, he goes for the Royal Ghost, which is one way of defending the Miner. If he plays the Magic Archer here, I already have the Wallies to kinda divert him, and he's still on my Mighty Miner. That super sucks. Okay, so at least we got the confirmation that it is the P.E.K.K.A bridge spam, because no other deck runs this combination of cards, and somehow by some chance, miraculously, my opponent got every single interaction right for him. We're gonna try to counter the Bandit with minions, and right now we are kinda at 0 elixir, so we have to play super cautiously. Obviously this matchup will absolutely flip once the elixir switches, so we're gonna try to survive until the double elixir and take things from then, because we'll be just able to spam the miners with the 3-card cycle on one lane and try to defend our opponent's pushes perfectly. I'm gonna get a surround against the Ghost, which is super nice interaction. I'm gonna play the Log against this Magic Archer, and honestly I'm gonna try to go for some kind of activation, unless I just want. Okay, minions to clean up the Mighty Miner, Skeletons to divert the Battle Ram, and yeah, probably I went too aggressive too early. I think it is gonna be already very difficult to come back into this game. I'm gonna still keep trying, because obviously it's still very possible to come back. I'm gonna play the Miner, because why not? My opponent is eating the damage, which is, I think, a very bad decision. I'm gonna get some value with minions. Very nice. I'm gonna get a poison against the Magic Archer, which is super cool. Fortunately for me, my opponent didn't use the Magic Archer to snipe the cannon, so the cannon will definitely get some value here. I'm gonna counter the Battle Ram as well, which is super nice. I'm gonna just overspend on that, because with bridge spam players you never know when they will just put the P.E.K.K.A into the metal. My opponent already kinda playing very cautiously against me, which is super nice to see. I'm gonna play the miner plus minions once again to divert his attention in any place but the offense. I'm gonna play the poison on the magic archer as well, just to get rid of that. Also, my opponent's dagger duchess is very dry, so we're gonna try to get the wall breakers in, and we do. Battle Ram. Okay, Battle Ram will connect, so that's gonna be very scary stuff. We're gonna play the wall breakers here to kinda prevent his magic archer from getting any value, and unfortunately the P.E.K.K.A healed enough from the mighty miner to take the tower. I thought I can get away with not playing minions. Once again, a very unfortunate mistake. We're gonna just play one more game. I really think that it really comes down to me making some kind of stupid mistakes rather than the matchups. Matchups are very good today. We're gonna start with a good luck. Like always, we're gonna play against the Cannoneer, and we're gonna blank against Cannoneer and Bomber, which honestly at this point can mean pretty much anything. Okay, it's Bomber and Giant Skeleton. I already am thinking about some kind of the clone shenanigans. I don't think it is the case yet, but we'll see. Also, I played very bad placement of the wall breakers, because now if my opponent were to ignore them, they wouldn't connect to the tower. But my opponent uses arrows anyway, so at least that's that. I'm gonna get a poison against the Zappies. Obviously, that's gonna be a fun counter, because I don't really need to take care of these Zappies in this matchup very quickly. I just have to get rid of them at all. Okay, minions will get a lot of damage here, kind of forcing my opponent to pick and choose very bad scenarios for himself. Barwam will get some damage, but like we don't really care, because we got so much damage from the minions. We already got our damage advantage with the miner, so we can just get a bit more creative, a bit more aggressive. My opponent once again gets a very nice set of zappies, and I think I actually spent the too much elixir with this poison. I should have probably played the log and the mighty miner ability to kill them, but I got the damage on the tower, and my opponent somehow is not punishing this play at all. Probably will come down to this timing be very disruptive. I'm gonna play miner in the back, try to start a very nice defense, and right now I'm gonna play a very high cannon. Let's see if we can pull this defense off. Miner will definitely be very handy in kiting those, right, left, and center. I kinda bait out his Mother Witch, which is super nice. That's exactly, honestly, what I thought will be happening. I'm gonna eat the Mother Witch, because at this stage of the game, we don't need to care about the weak side tower. We just have to take care of the strong side tower, and our stronger side tower, the strong side tower switched, so maybe we should have cared a bit, but I was able to get way more aggressive because of eating the Mother Witch, so I still think it was a very good play. I'm gonna play miner in the back, try to get the giant skeleton back, and I do. I'm gonna play once again the wall breakers right here. Right now these zappies will be promptly killed by my minions, which is super cool. I'm gonna play the cannon here, and my opponent just tries to stack a very huge push, which honestly I approve. Honestly, it could have been one of the last opportunities to steal the game, but unfortunately it's not gonna be the case. I'm gonna play Wallies, and these Wallies will kill the Zappies in front. They will also get a tower damage, and that's gonna clean the game right here. So yeah, that's gonna be some minor poison today. Unfortunately, we take some unfortunate losses, but I won't cut them out, because that's pretty much the purpose of the consistency uploads. And yeah, that's gonna be the video for today. I pretty much enjoyed playing with this deck. Like I've said, pretty underwhelming performance, but it is what it is. Next time we'll be hopefully getting a better result. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks you for watching, and stay tuned for the tomorrow's upload. Peace.